What's up, YouTube? Today we're actually going to be reviewing some battles submitted to this channel by a subscriber named Simbad. He said, "I'm a big fan of your content since your legend run with Malamar and Jumpla. Thank you for being so helpful to your viewers. This is my 4th season playing. I've only hit veteran once 2 seasons ago. But you're still pretty new. That's pretty solid. Last season, my max was 2485, super close. I don't think I'm a bad player, just very mid at the moment. I study the game and try to get better, but usually my sets are 3-2 or 2-3, and overall 13 out of 25 or 12 out of 25. Okay, so you struggle with consistency. I guess we'll take a look at these battles today. So I have a problem with winning more and climbing. I love using Malamar as a lead. Same, it is so good. It's a little bit harder in this meta with all the darks, but we'll get into that in a bit. Every time I change it, I feel like it gets 2 RPS. This team feels the safest at the moment. Swapping Shadow Drapion over Shadow Jumpluff with Acrobatics also felt less RPS. I'm guessing you originally were running this team with Jumpluff, or maybe trying to mirror the Malamar Jumpluff team that I used in the past, but going for Shadow Drapion. I think the Drapion Malamar core is honestly really strong, so props to you for figuring that out as well. And you said, but Malamar and CRADILY feels great. I think that's just CRADILY is so unbelievably strong in this meta. I don't think I played particularly good in the video, but it was a rare 4-1. So yeah, we're only going to be looking at 5 battles today, which means we are going to be looking a little bit more in depth at the battles and really focusing on where you can improve. And then hopefully that's really helpful to other viewers that watch this channel so they can improve their skills as well. I was blessed with good leads and backlines and knew what to do if you kept general count stuff. Also weird decisions for my opponents, so I don't know how good it is for coaching. I don't know if I could have used Aquatail in the last match to burn the clock or go for a catch. I can send content that you think would help. Maybe a set where I don't have a brain or where I think I play really good. Or more mid 3-2, 2-3 sets. I will appreciate all the time you dedicate to unshit my skills. If you have some team composition suggestions, I can send you a video of Metamons where I have for the Great League. Thank you for your time. By the way, you should do your own veteran run with Malamar lead. Okay, so yeah, so just taking a look at the team, we've got Malamar, Drapion, and CRADILY. I think it's a really solid team. I think CRADILY is just super strong in this meta, and it actually looks like CRADILY and Malamar make a pretty decent core. 2 Pokemon that I don't see on this list that I think you might struggle with a little bit are Pangoro and Guzzlord, just because they resist your Psy Waves, and they can usually outpace or wall your movesets. So those 2 Pokemon could be a little bit tough, but without further ado, let's take a look at some battles. Okay, right away we have Clodsire. So this is a good lead in general. But Clodsire can actually win the zeros here if they want. So it's not as comfortable for the Malamar as you'd expect, with the Psy Waves being super effective. But you are just going to stay in this matchup, throwing the foul play on the CMP tie with what could be an Earthquake here. And it is the Earthquake, they full send it. So now you have the issue of you have to throw before they make it to a Sludge Bomb. You actually overfarm, and it looks like your opponent also overfarms, unless they're on Stone Edge. And as you can see, the foul play nerf or rework kind of hurts Malamar in this situation. And they are running the Stone Edge. You do commit the shield, that's okay. So you come out with energy loaded, and it's a Jumpluff. I'm not sure about throwing energy here. You have 2 better answers in the back. I would have preserved that energy personally and then just switched in my Drapion right away. And it's a Blastoise, and you did kind of throw an alignment there, so make sure aware of your fast move timing. I know it is hard, especially when like the switch goes, because it's 1 turn for a switch and you don't know what fast move they switched on, so it can be tricky, but with a little bit more focus you can definitely figure it out. There's not really a trick to it. You are just going to let that Hydro go after grabbing a shield, so I think that was a good play. Coming with CRADILY and then no shielding. So I'm just going to pause because I did say I was going to coach a little bit here. When you have 2 Pokemon from your opponent left, one is a Shadow and one is a non-Shadow, and one has Hydro Cannon, and one just has Aerial Ace and Energy Ball. I mean, they could be running Acrobatics, and you know, like the hardest hitting move that's going to come at you is that Shadow Hydro Cannon. That's when I would use the shield, because you're going to get the Bullet Seed farm down either way, and then you can immediately debuff the Jump Fluff regardless. So shielding that Hydro actually puts you in a better position there. And I was kind of surprised that you came in with CRADILY, but getting the energy lead is fine. But you do need to shield that Hydra there if you're going to get the energy lead on CRADILY. Because now you do have Malamar for a potential catch, which is great. I'm just going to go for the Rock Tomb pretty much as soon as we get it. They let it go because they know you can't Bullet Seed farm down. And then I actually really like this switch. Coming in Malamar, forcing them to either throw their energy or, if they want to go for the full farm down, have to burn a shield here. So now they're at no more shields. So all we have to do is farm up to the Rock Tomb and then watch for a catch. So what you want to do here is, as soon as you get to the Rock Tomb, just wait till you see that Fairy Wind come through, and then throw the charge move. So they get to a second Energy Ball, they live, and oh no, you instantly click. So fully undercharging. I think this is still going to KO. The Blastoise was super low. Yeah, it was 1 HP. So I think you are going to lose this game, unless they're on double nuke. Oh, that is crazy. So they must have been on Energy Ball Acrobatics. So you kind of lucked out there, able to grab the win with a 1 HP CRADILY. Very nice. So into the next match, we have Malamar into Golurk. This is actually pretty neutral. You do have super effective coverage, and you do have a pacing advantage. Okay, so right away, you're throwing on alignment. So Golurk, in order to get to a Shadow Punch, takes 4 Mud Slaps in the first and then 3 to the second. So what you can do is you can actually farm up to 11 Psy Waves, because that is 1 turn before they are able to get to 4 Mud Slaps, which is 12 turns. So if you throw right as you get to 11, and then the 12th turn is your foul play, then you're throwing on good timing, and that will actually allow you to outpace on the second time around, because the average of 12 and 9 is higher than just straight 10. So just focusing on your charge move timing there, because I think that actually will allow them to potentially CMP tie you on the second, because I believe now they're only going to be 1 Mud Slap away from a second Shadow Punch, and they win CMP. So now you're double shielding the Malamar on CMP, because all they have to do is let this go, and they're going to be in a great situation here, and they do. And then they come in with a Talonflame to get up energy. So another issue here is you have 2 Pokemon that can hit for super effective damage on this Talonflame. You need to be getting out of that matchup immediately. Preserve the Malamar for later. You're not going to be able to make it now, because they're going to be able to outpace you to a move if you come in with either of your back 2 Pokemon now. So you're basically going to end up having to sacrifice one of your back 2 Pokemon. And they do go, you do grab the shield, which is nice, but now look, if they have Brave Bird, you say goodbye to your Drapion, and they do, right? So they didn't overfarm because they couldn't, because you would make it to the Aqua Tail, and then you're lucky, oh, we got another mistake there. You're lucky that they're kind of core broken by their CRADILY in the back. Quick thing here, I'm just going to rewind just a tiny bit. So they Brave Bird your Drapion, so you come in with CRADILY, and then they come in with Blastoise. So you need to be throwing this charge move as soon as you get to the Grass Knot. Why? Not because it's going to KO. It'll actually probably leave the Blastoise probably deep red, but it won't KO. Because they're like a couple turns behind, they actually won't get a free rollout through where they would if you were throwing, if you guys were like starting at 0 energy each. You actually have a slight energy advantage here, and that fast moves are slightly misaligned. So if you threw right away here, they wouldn't have gotten an extra rollout through. That's why they threw right away, because they knew they could get to this Hydro Cannon. But at this point, you should overfarm by 2. Absolutely perfect. And now Grass Knot, I don't know if it'll be able to KO, probably not, because you're both non-shadow, yeah. And they do live that, but that's actually okay, right? Because now you just get that Bullet Seed farm down and come out with a Rock Tomb loaded, and you do live 2 Hydros, which is huge. And then you come out with the Rock Tomb loaded. Incinerate does go through, but we don't care. This will be enough to KO the Talonflame, and you are able to take that win. So 2 wins back to back. We are expecting a 4-1 here, so good start to these battles. Primeape on the lead. So this is actually a good lead. I mean, you've got super effective Psy Waves. They switch out into Typhlosion, so throw your move right away. Okay, so the reason you want to throw your move right away is because it takes 10 turns for a Typhlosion to get to a Thunder Punch. If you've noticed on the left, it also takes you 10 turns to get to a Foul Play and a Superpower, right? So what you want to do is you want to farm up to exactly 10 turns, throw the Superpower as soon as you get it. Why? Because switching takes 1 turn. So your opponent switches into the Typhlosion, so they're always going to be 1 turn behind, which means if you throw the Superpower right away, as soon as you get it, that'll be on perfect timing and you're giving them no free energy, which is massive. So definitely don't want to overfarm there because you're basically just losing out on free energy. And you also should get out of that matchup after you throw it right away, because you can always keep switch then because you have a pacing advantage with Drapion with Aqua Tails in the back, especially after those Psy Waves have done as much damage as they have. But you do let them get to a move, and now you're shielding a Thunder Punch. So this is going to be a little bit awkward, and then you throw right away. Okay, so that wasn't a CMP tie, which means you need to throw 4 more Psy Waves before you throw that next charge move, because otherwise you're letting an entire Incinerate in for free. And what's really important about that is that is 20 free energy from your opponent, which means they're only 1 more Incinerate away from a second Thunder Punch. But you did throw right away. They do get some free energy. They shield the Foul Play back, but now you're always going to be behind on energy. You could have thrown 1 more Poison Sting there before you went to the Aqua Tail, because you got 0 turn switch after throwing a charge move. And you're really lucky they let that go, and you're lucky they overfarmed because they were trying to bait like they were going to go to the Blast Burn. If they had chipped with a Thunder Punch, they would have been in a better position. But they come back in with the Primeape. They only build up to a Rage Fist, so you call that bait. Very nice. And that lets you get an Aqua Tail off here, and they actually shield that up. So now you're in a great position. I'm assuming this is just going to be another Rage Fist coming your way. It probably will KO from this range. Ooh, I do not like this shield. The reason I don't like this shield is because Aqua Tail is not going to KO here, and you still have a Malamar. So what you should be doing here in this situation is letting that go. If it doesn't KO, great, Aqua Tail connects. If it does, you come in with Malamar, their energy dry, you go for the full Psywave farm down, and you shield once because they're only going to make it to 1 more move, I think. If your Malamar is lower than it should be in this situation, but okay, but see, you did recognize it eventually. You actually make the switch, you snipe, and it's a Azumarill in the back. Now, fun fact about Azumarill is that Malamar beats it in the 2 shield scenario. Unfortunately, this is the 0 shield scenario, and it's also an underpowered Azumarill, and also they're over farming and letting you get to a second charge move. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go 2 more bubble seals here to 100 energy. Nope, they throw right away. So yeah, your opponents are making some interesting plays as well. They do just go for the Ice Beam. That is enough to KO. But now, because they don't really come out with 2 charge moves loaded, yeah, the game is pretty much over. Your opponent realizes that you're going to get to a Grass Knot and outpace, so you are able to take that win. Feraligatr on the lead. Okay, this is going to be a tough lead because you pace the exact same. So I wouldn't throw right away on CMP, and you don't. Nice. You are going to opt to shield. You can live this as a Malamar, but I don't mind the shield because you do take a lot of damage. One thing though is when you're throwing that foul play, make sure you're throwing 1 Psywave in between because a Shadow Claw is a 2-turn move. Catching the Hydro, this is still neutral damage, but it's not a bad play because that Bullet Seed sneaks through and it might KO. No, they live on 1 HP, and then they come in with a Grumpig. Now, Grumpig is great for your front 2 Pokemon, but unfortunately it is aligned on your CRADILY, and all the opponent has to do is throw right before you get to a second Rock Tomb. And yeah, they throw in CMP, so really well played from your opponent. You kind of just have to let this go. You do, that is a correct play, and then you just come in Malamar, that is also the correct play, because all their charge moves are neutral here because of your dark subtyping, and you have super effective coverage, and their Psy waves are triple resisted, so they're never going to be able to farm you down. So going for the foul play, they do decide to shield that back, which is kind of surprising, and then they overfarm or don't get to the charge move. And now are they going to double shield? Yes, they are. And they hardly overfarm, so you just let this go. This is a great play. You come in with your Drapion here, and I think you just go for the full poisoning farm down. You probably will have to shield once, but that's okay because you're going to come out loaded with energy. So you're playing this absolutely perfectly so far. They do get off the dynamic punch, it's shielded, and it's a CRADILY in the back. Definitely, I mean, good fast move timing, definitely there for sure. But try and get off that crunch after that first bullet seed on good timing, because there is the potential that you could get the defense drop debuff, and you could have also thrown before they got to that rock tomb. And if you had landed that crunch there, it would have put them deep in the red and given you a perfect poison sting farm down. But instead, you're going for a double Aqua Tail to get the KO and come out with some residual energy, which is okay. Fast move timing there is fine because that bullet seed won't actually sneak. They come in with a Grumpig, they get poison sting down. Same with the Feraligatr, and Drapion takes the sweep in the end game. Very nice. Mightyena. Okay, so this is the first match where you're going to have to switch out immediately. Ooh. Okay, we're staying in, and you're baiting with a foul play. So I would get out of this matchup for two reasons. One, Shadow Drapion resists basically everything, I think. Mightyena is running what? Sucker Punch, Poison Fang, and then maybe like, I don't know, Play Rough, Trailblaze. Does it learn Trailblaze? I don't know. But so Drapion resists its fast move and its cheapest charge move, and you'll also be able to outpace. So you could come in, throw the Aqua Tail right away. And Mightyena, especially the Shadow, is so glassy. Staying in with Malamar, I don't know. At least CRADILY has a neutral matchup, so you could even come in with that. But this is a pretty negative matchup where they're hitting neutrally. You can grab shields, but I would rather come in with one of my back two Pokemon, farm down whatever they come in with as a response if you lose switch, and then come out with loads of superpowers loaded. But this time you are full setting the superpower. This will be enough to KO if they no shield, but they double shield their Mightyena, and then you come in with a CRADILY. So you do have grabbed two shields. You are going to let this go. It could just be a Poison Fang. No, they full send that Play Rough, and it's a Corviknight in the back, which that's a rough matchup for you because they have super effective Iron Head if they're running it, and then two Rock Tombs don't KO, and they actually throw before you even get there. Ooh, and you're shielding. I don't know about this play. I think honestly a crunch from a Shadow Drapion will do more damage. I understand that you don't really have too many great Pokemon in this Corviknight left in the back. Throw the move. Oof, you did outpace, and you knew they were going to get to a charge move, so you should have thrown that shield, thrown that energy to at least take it out. But they do come in with Mightyena. You are able to get to the Aqua Tail. This will probably take them out, which is nice, and it's Feraligatr in the back. And unfortunately, because you didn't overfarm, they are going to get to a Hydro here. And this will be enough to KO, and then your CRADILY is way too low and just going to get outpaced. Yeah. So let's rewind, take a look at where you lost this battle. So you lost right away when you didn't come in with one of your back two Pokemon. That should have been your first decision. Just because they have at least more neutral matchups, and I don't want to take loads of fast move damage without without grabbing those shields. So what I would have done is I would have come in with CRADILY a little bit earlier, probably, maybe even the Drapion, but there is a likely chance they have an answer to Drapion. That being said, Drapion doesn't really have any answers, so you do eventually come in the CRADILY. You tank a charge move here. You throw this Rock Tomb as soon as you get it, which is fine. You're never going to be able to Bullet Seed farm down, so you get this Rock Tomb off. and try to make it to a second one. That's totally fine. As soon as they throw here, you should not be shielding this. You should be coming in with either Malamar or Drapion. You're not going to be able to Sidewave farm down. So I think Drapion, because you'll probably outpace. You will take super effective stand attacks, but they're non-stab, so it's not the end of the world. And then you should have thrown here if you're going to try and snipe at the Malamar, because then at least, I don't know, actually you would have switched off yourself. They would have been able to come in, get a full farm down with Mightyena, so maybe that wouldn't have been the greatest play. Just probably shouldn't have come in with the Malamar like that. And then in this situation, you should have overfarmed. You saw on your CRADILY that they just dumped a Play Rough. A Play Rough is loads of energy, especially for a Sucker Punch user. Sucker Punch, I mean, it has some decent energy generation, but it's not the absolute best. It's nothing like Poison Sting. So you know they're pretty much energy dry. You should be overfarming here because you don't know what's in the back at this point. And because you don't overfarm this matchup, I think you actually could have won if you hadn't. I get what you're saying, trying to throw 2 Aqua Tails and then try and burn the Switch Clock and grab a Switch. But I think if you had just overfarmed a little bit, it would have, and then taken them out later, your Switch Clock would have come up a little bit faster, and then you would have outpaced the crunch. You could have thrown that charge move, that would have burned the Switch Clock, and then just trying to catch on CRADILY, and then winning with your Drapion. You also weren't really in farm down range for the Corviknight, so you could have even just been taken out with the Hydro on the Drapion, and then come in, get a Rock Tomb off on that Corviknight, because they were pretty much energy dry there as well. But I really appreciate you being the very first person to submit battles. I really hope this wasn't too critical. I think overall you played really well, especially for your ELO range. This was at the 2100 ELO range. I apologize that that's not on the right here. The battles were a little bit wider than I'm used to. I'm guessing this was played on just a wider phone than the one I use. But yeah, overall, I think just understanding your win conditions and when to shield your low HP Pokemon is probably your biggest thing that's holding you back. I think if you become more consistent with that, and you understand what your win condition is and whether you need to shield or not in any given scenario, I think you will climb. I think that's a huge thing. Your fast move timing obviously needs some work, but that's pretty easy to correct, and I think you do understand it from watching these battles, but maybe you haven't perfected it yet. So, but yeah, overall great stuff. I hope this was helpful to other viewers and other subscribers. But yeah, that's it for me for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, peace.